Ah, Dagobah. Can you think of any place more heartwarming, more welcoming, more lovely to spend some time in than the swampy Star Wars planet where Yoda lives? All right, well, it may not be the most romantic place, but if you want to be a Jedi, it's a place you want to hang out. And it's been no short, I guess, inspiration behind quite a lot of action figure releases. In fact, Dagobah is loved so much that the same exact 4-pack, well, 5-pack, I guess Yoda counts as a figure, got released twice with slightly different figures. Kind of weird. You had to really pay attention to Darth Vader's cloak on that one. But yeah, Dagobah, main characters Vader, Obi-Wan, R2, Luke, and we never got a Dagobah version of R2 when we were kids. We did get 2 R2s, so actually 3. We got regular, we got Periscope, which I guess could be Dagobah, even though it was shown as Hoth, and then the lightsaber ejecting one from Return of the Jedi. Well, in the modern line, we finally got an R2D2 colored for Dagobah, or as I kind of look at him more as a R2D2 that's been playing touch football in a field because he's covered in a grass stain. But hey, to finally get a Dagobah R2, this was pretty cool. And I actually couldn't quite remember where this figure came from at first. I had to look it up when I was doing this video. So this was a Toys R Us exclusive. And I did a really bad job in my toy diary of noting this because I was like, oh, right, it came with an X-Wing. That's right. And it's odd because it's one of the only times an X-Wing has been sold with an R2 or even an astromech droid. We've gotten lots of X-Wings in the modern line, and starting from, the original Kenner tool that was saved by Palitoy to later new versions that got released kind of over and over again. And my personal favorite, the Dagobah version with Luke in raising X-Wing pose. We'll get to this one eventually. It also came with the monster that eats R2. So yeah, lots and lots of X-Wings have been released over the years, but it's almost always has either a port for R2 or no R2. Some X-Wings have come with pilots. We've had Lukes, we've had Bigs, we've had Red Leaders, we've had Wedges, but this is the only release in the modern line that came with an R2D2. And it's a unique R2D2 for that. So it's absolutely a toy, as the history guy would say, worth remembering. Because it brought some original tools and accessories to the line. All right, so looking at the figure itself, it's a repaint of an existing R2D2, but we do get grass stains. Sure, why not? Because, hey, on Dagobah there's grass, I suppose, maybe slightly off the screen. Yoda and Luke were playing pickleball. I don't know. Now, this R2 did come with some really cool accessories, albeit the survival gear of Luke, his lamp, his rations, and I guess a case of stuff. And they do open up, and there's deco inside. And of course, the other accessory this R2 came with was an X-Wing. The way I look at the lines are, if I have to buy a giant vehicle to get a figure, I'm actually buying it for the figure. So this was an R2 that just came with an X-Wing as an accessory. Hey, that's the way I look at it. Everyone can see it differently. You may have been buying it for the X-Wing. I was buying it for the R2. Now, there were 2 other R2D2s released in the Blue Saga collection, but both of these were sourced from Attack of the Clones, which makes sense since Attack of the Clones was in theaters at this time, versus the R2D2 that came with this X-Wing was distinctly sourced from Empire Strikes Back, as noted on the packaging and the diorama packout showing the sort of murky Dagobah swamp there, as well as the film title called out right there on the package. It's always odd, getting an Empire Strikes Back item in the middle of an Attack of the Clones theatrical line. But hey, an R2D2, one of the single most popular characters, doesn't change that much film to film. I mean, he gets dusty, he gets dirty, but for the most part, he's either clean or he's busy executing a green maneuver so you can recover 1 shield in your next shield value move. So yeah, R2D2, lots of different variants, lots of different widgets and mechanical arms popping out. He's like the Swiss Army knife of Star Wars. I always wish that they made it clear that Anakin is the one who sort of customized R2, and not all Astro droids have as many sort of, widgets and parts that pop out. This was like an Anakin thing that he did to make R2 special. All right, that's just my own little fantasy. They never showed on screen. We've obviously had sort of, tech burn versions, and we've had other Dagobah swamp versions. This is probably one of the best since he was caked in dirt, like he actually was in the film, not to mention a light-up sound and push-button effect with a try-me, always great for getting kids to actually purchase a toy. So not the only Dagobah R2D2 that was in our collection, and if you wanted to go up to 6-inch, there was, of course, the Black Series Dagobah version, which is actually the one I have. Now, this version was released as a single card later on, although it was a different R2D2 tool, note the third leg, but it did come with a re-release of the different Dagobah rations and lamp, although not as much deco. Inside of the ration kit now we have implied deco instead of actually painted deco. So, yeah, you could get another Dagobah R2, and if you missed out on the survival gear, you had a second chance for the carded figure. But hey, if you wanted grass stain R2D2, complete with, vac metal head and clickiness and light pipe eye, this was the your only opportunity. And as a Toys R Us exclusive, an Empire Strikes Back toy released in the middle of an Attack of the Clones line, you can see how this one kind of got a little lost in in the translation there.